Welcome to this Creation Pro Tea and Tights preview, this Brit Wres Special, as we talk about the promotion Creation Pro. Based in Wales, they have seen performers like Michael Oku, Charlie Sterling, Robbie X, Lykos Gym, Jody Fleisch, Brendan White, and so many more incredible stars compete for it. And we welcome back today Billy Haze to do the preview for No More Balconies, which is the 26th of June in Cardiff, Wales, at the Revolution in Cardiff, a new venue for yourselves. Have I lost you? I've lost him already. Not a great start. There he's back.
Oh, here we go. There we go. That's fine.
There we go. So as I just mentioned, you've got the big show coming up, No More Balconies, 26th of June, Cardiff, Wales. You're back on our show. Of course, you did an interview with Big Daddy Dan about your career so far, but we're actually here to talk about your promotion. When did you decide that you wanted to be a promoter as well?
So like I've always, like, since I started wrestling, I've always kind of wanted to be a promoter because I enjoy giving back and helping people out with wrestling and everything like that. So it's always been something I've really wanted to do. But over the lockdown period and when things started coming back, it was kind of a point where I was like, oh, I'm actually able to do this. There's not many companies around, so there's a gap in the market for me to slot in here. And like I was just watching shows and everything up and down the country, and like a lot of it was a lot of the same guys getting used over and over again, which I've got nothing against, but I wanted to give the guys that I knew were really good an opportunity to show that they're really good for companies that aren't, because they're not getting many opportunities for it.
Yeah, no, you can see down your card. Yes, you have got some names, of course. Every card does need some names, but you're seeing guys like Lee Hunter, who does not get used enough. He's an incredible talent.
Yeah.
Harrison Bennett, man like Bino, again, although he is beginning to start to get his legs well back now.
Yeah.
Nico Angelo, again, a severely underrated talent, like Lykos Gym member, and he, again, just beginning to really get his name out there. I love the fact that you use Mark True. Obviously,
Mark True's amazing.
MMA competitor as well, part of the Teens with Attitude, the Power Rangers, as I like to call them, because that is literally the line they use. Nino Bryant, who is just phenomenal. Splits McPins. Connor Mills, again, another name who just doesn't seem to be quite...
It's a weird one. He's someone that I would explain as like, everyone knows he's really, really good. Everyone knows it. But for some reason, he's just not on every single show.
I mean, he does do a lot with RevPro UK, and of course, RevPro UK are always busy. They're probably the busiest promotion at the moment in the
almost definitely. I think they're running almost every weekend.
Yeah, they are doing very well for themselves. They've got some incredible talent that you guys have used as well. So guys like Lee Hunter, but Jody Fleisch, name incredible, superb. You've had so many great talents and young talents in your promotion, so I can see where that ethos has come from, and that drive to mix well-known with lesser known.
Yeah, and it's a lot of like, just like the best way to learn wrestling is wrestling. Like that's the best way you could learn it. So like getting guys that are my friends and that I think are really good, and getting to put them in there with guys like on our first show, Joe Lando had a match with Lykos Gym and he was tagging with Jody Fleisch. Like, if that's not a learning experience, I don't know what the hell is. Like, you're going to come out of that match with something new that you've learned in wrestling. And like every match, I kind of try and do that a bit so someone can learn something from it.
I actually remember we had Lando on just before that first show. So we were speaking to him about his opportunity to work with Jody Fleisch. And of course, he was just so ecstatic to be working with such a name and such an incredible, talented performer.
Yeah. Obviously Jody and both the Lykos are like have wrestled so many other people, and there's so many more things that they could pass on. And it's the same with people like Nino that are going against guys like Robbie X, and like that he's now having Lykos. Like the amount of learning experiences he can go in and get from doing them is incredible.
Mm. And yourself, you were doing commentary, so you were sitting there live watching all of these. What's that kind of an experience like to sit back and be in that position for a change?
I love doing every single part of wrestling. So I like being there and like just giving a hand. I enjoy doing commentary. I enjoy I've ring announced once, which I didn't enjoy at all. That and reffing, I do not enjoy at all. But everything else, I genuinely enjoy every single part of wrestling. Like being there, enjoying the show. That's as good to me as performing on it. Like I still learn as much, and I still can go out and be me and have a good time and make sure like everyone's elevated to the best that they can be, because that's what commentators do.
Mm.
Like the best commentators elevate the talent that are in the ring, and that's one of the things that I enjoy doing the most, making other people look really good.
That's a very selfless way to be. Now, of course, your first two shows were at the Angels Hotel in Cardiff. Mm-hmm. Now you've moved to a new venue for your next one, Revolution in Cardiff. No More Balconies. So is this a reference to the fact that you want to stop Connor Mills and Nico Angelo going up to the balconies and hitting Spanish flies, or is the fact that there's literally going to be no more balconies at this one?
It's a mixture of both. So this is like very like on the record. It's very bad. When we were applying to do the show in Revolution and everything, obviously you have to get a load of like planning permission and stuff, and it has to go out to the like surrounding committees and everything like that. The police got in contact with Revolution because they've seen the clips out of Creation Pro and people jumping off balconies and doing things like that, and asking and making sure that nothing like that's going to happen there. So it's a bit of a nod towards that, like a selfish nod towards that, and also the fact that there is no more balconies for us to jump off of, so we can't do that anymore.
I'm sure Connor Mills is going to be very frustrated, and Nico as well. Be right. Before we go on to obviously the upcoming show, we'll go through each match separately, but we'll talk about the first two shows, Creation, and insert Marvel quote here. So if I run down quickly the who defeated who, and then you can give us some background on some of those matches and some of those performers.
Sounds great.
So at Creation, Elijah defeated Mark True. Lee Hunter defeated Amira Blair, now Amira Ares. Lykos Gym defeated Lando and Jody Fleisch. The OJMO, Michael Oku defeated Sid Oakley. Harrison Bennett defeated Brendan White. And Nico Angelo defeated Connor Mills. Now, the Brendan White one was supposed to be against Martin Kirby originally, wasn't it? And actually, didn't you have to postpone your first show as well? We should have discussed that.
We almost had to postpone our first show. It was very, very close because we had the day, and with the lockdown just ended literally the week before. So, but it wasn't like at that time we didn't know when it was going to end. So it wasn't till about 2 weeks before that we knew that the lockdown was going to end before that. So we were like, on the edge of postponing it and moving it further along. But we managed to keep the initial date that we set in stone.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And of course, as we say, the Martin Kirby versus Brendan White was supposed to be a hair versus hair match, which obviously I found hilarious.
That was like one of those. As I'm walking down the road, just random thoughts of like, this is what this should be, and it'll be really funny.
But so was it like kind of having to deal with that? Was it a last minute thing, or did you know roughly when? What's it like to deal with that type of situation where you're having to change talent on the fly?
It's both stressful and relieving. I'm very much someone that believes a lot in fate and what's meant to be and a lot of things like that. So when things like that happen, I don't see it as like, this is a problem. I see it as like, oh, okay, like this wasn't supposed to happen now, so we're going to like arrange something else. And it's just a matter of whoever like either comes to mind first that you can think of that fits the spot well, or fills the area that needs to be filled well. Like it's happened like a fair few times with the shows that we've been doing. On the same show, Clementine couldn't make it, so that's when Amira stepped in, and that was just one of those, like, there's people around, there's people that are helping out, and there's people doing a load of things like that, so this is an opportunity for them to step up and step in.
And Harrison was ready to make that call. Man Like Beano, sorry. I mean, what is it? Was it Harrison Bennett or is it Man Like Beano? Because he seems to be different and in a couple of different ones, isn't he?
Yeah. So we announced it wrong. To be fair to him, because as we were doing it all, like we'd spoke about it and we'd spoke about him changing his name, but because everything was such last second, we had to get the graphic out there quick and like sort things out. We announced it as Man Like Beano, and just because I completely like lapse of like memory, just being like, oh yeah, it's Man Like Beano still. And then he told me, and then it was like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it's supposed to be Harrison Bennett. Yeah. I think that's a nice decision to move along from Man Like Beano into the new version of him, which is Harrison Bennett, I think.
I mean, he's still got the huge crowd support behind him, and you can tell that he's about ready to break out. He's a big lad, great size to him, and phenomenally talented. A lot of great Welsh wrestlers out there at the moment.
We're lucky that we've been blessed to be trained with people at such high caliber, and that's the majority of it. Like, we've been blessed to go in there and then train with people like Mark Andrews, with Hitch, Wild Boar, Flash Morgan Webster. We've had those opportunities, which is absolutely amazing. It's one of the reasons that I moved here, is to get those opportunities to do that. Because if like, where else are you going to go? Like, you're going to train with the best people and you're going to work with the best people, because this is the people that are training you are such high caliber already.
And then you've got Brendan White's just taken over from Hitchman and Flash Morgan Webster, created New Wave Pro out of Dragon Gate. So he's keeping that legacy going. He's been through that Rev Pro UK Contenders division. He's been drilled to the T. Yeah. So he's the next level of coach, I guess.
Yeah, it's the natural evolution of everything here.
Yeah. So you guys you faced off at Pro Wrestling Chaos against Danny Jones is another one who's just a phenomenal talent, just coming out at the moment, breaking through. So let's have a look at some of these matches. The OJMO Sid Oakley, because again, Sid Oakley is a name we didn't mention, a guy who's incredibly talented, very unique in a landscape of people who a lot are quite similar. He's quite unique.
Yeah. Like Sid's one of those guys that the main reason that I put this match together is because Sid and Michael, if I can speak in a term that's not wrestling so much, just outside of wrestling, Sid and Michael are two people that are really good at making everyone else look really good. And that's like the thing that both of them are very incredible at. So I was like, oh, I really wonder how two people that are really good at making everyone else look really good are going to do in a match against each other. And it was a matter of just curiosity more than anything. And like, obviously Sid's amazing that no one realizes, and Michael, everyone knows, is amazing. So it's a nice opportunity for them to go, oh, like, he's really good and he can do this as well. He can keep up and he can go with Michael.
And then you had that amazing main event, Nico Angelo, Connor Mills. We spoke a little bit about Nico. Connor Mills, slightly more well-known, but often gets overlooked by his incredible tag team partner. But he's somebody I've always championed as a phenomenal talent.
Without making it sound too bad, Mills is, in my opinion, the next Pete Dunne of professional wrestling. Like, in terms of the British scene, in terms of he's going to fly under the radar for so long, and then all of a sudden everyone's going to go, oh, what? Like, he's incredible. Why don't we use him? Like, why don't we bring him in and put him on our shows? Like, it's just he's the next Pete Dunne, in my opinion, for like the British scene.
Mm. And again, he is doing fantastic things with Retro UK. He just had that incredible match against Michael Oku in, was it Sheffield? No, York Hall.
Yeah, that was in York Hall.
What a match. They are such a great drama, great wrestling, and nice to see where that continues to grow. Now, your second show, insert Marvel quote here. What's the thing with UK wrestling and names like this? Of course, a lot of UK wrestling does use a lot of Marvel quotes as the thing, so it's a play on different.
Yeah, like the whole reason that I decided that's the name is because I was literally like, the amount of like indie wrestling shows in the UK where it's like the Snap or some sort of like in quote with like what Marvel's most recently released. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be an absolute dick and just call it insert Marvel quote here instead of actually thinking of one.
I do not blame you. Again, I've actually just finished watching this. This was a really good show to watch. Robbie X defeating Nino, Bryant, Rhio defeating Elijah, Brendan White, David Francisco, Ollie Pierce, and Vaughan Vertigo defeating Mark Drew, Safire Reed, Split Smoked Pins, and Michael Oku, and of course Nico Angelo in an incredible triple threat against Connor Mills and Lee Hunter. I missed out the fact that Lykos Gym picked up a win over Luke Jacobs and Joshua James.
Yeah.
So two guys that don't normally tag together. Is that because their tag team partners were out injured?
I mean, so it was initially JJ and Ridgeway against Lykos Gym, because Ridgeway's had quite a heavy part in JJ's training and things like that, and there's a lot of things going towards that, and also the fact that like Lykos Gym are such a solid tag team. I've been trying to find people that aren't tag teams to wrestle them to see if that little extra like nuance of them not experienced, but they could also surprise you with something, could fault them in the ring. So I've been trying to do that, but Lykos Gym are an incredible tag team. Now, what can I say? And yeah, Luke Jacobs just Ridgeway went to Japan, and he was doing his whole tour there, so he wasn't able to do that date, which was completely fine. So we just brought in the next best thing, which is Luke Jacobs, who's also a very close friend with JJ.
Because I saw Chris Ridgeway versus JJ at Wrestle Carnival show, actually, their first ever show, and first time I've ever seen JJ wrestle, and I went, wow, this is a big guy who's very technically sound. Does he have a jiu-jitsu background, by the way?
He has an amateur wrestling background.
That might explain it. And yes, but a big guy, very dangerous. So you guys, Dead Sad Boys, phenomenal tag team. Are we gonna see you guys team up in Creation Pro? Are you gonna take on Lykos Gym?
No. I'm very much like taking a back foot in wrestling on the shows. Like, I'm on this show, but it's only in a small capacity. I don't want to do anything more than this on my shows, because I don't want the attention being on me for my shows. I want the attention being on the talent in Wales. I don't want it. I don't want people that in the kind of a backhanded compliment to myself. I don't want to accidentally get over.
Yeah.
So then I have to pay it off. I don't want to accidentally get the crowd enjoying what I'm doing, because I don't like the idea of running a show where I'm the one that is main event in it. I don't like the idea of that. And I'm the one that's getting the adulation and I'm getting everything from it. I'd rather be someone in the background that's just putting on good shows and making sure everyone is doing what they deserve. They're getting what they deserve in terms of recognition. That's
nice. Very Cody-like in AEW, where he took himself away from the main event scene and said, I'm just going to be here. Of course, I think he... But okay. It was a fantastic show. That main event, Nico Angelo, Connor Mills, and Lee Hunter, was insane.
It was absolutely incredible. And it was really nice because everyone came out of the first show going, I don't know how you're going to top that main event. Even the wrestlers backstage, the fans, everyone was going, I don't know how you're going to top that main event. And I went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna add Lee Hunter. Done. Like instantly, like done. I've added Lee Hunter. It's gonna top it. I can promise you that.
It's such a phenomenal talent. My personal, when Rev Pro UK again, I saw him take on Shota Umino in what I think is Shota Umino's best match in the UK. I don't think he's had a better match before or after his match with Lee Hunter, and we know a big reason for that being it was Lee Hunter. Now you came up with the jumpers for ring post match.
Yeah.
Now I was almost expecting you to take the ring ropes away and actually put jumpers down for this.
I was really tempted to do that, but it also would have taken way too much time for the show to change everything in between.
Yes, yeah, it does take quite a while to set up a ring. I've never done it myself. I've watched people do it now, though. I've been at a few shows where I've got to see the guys put the ring together, and it's a sight to behold. But I noticed that a big London promotion stole your idea here, or at least partly used your idea. Borrowed. Yes. For those who don't know, in the Progress, I think it was day 3 of the recent Super Strong Style 16 match, they had 2 captains who picked the team, but of course that was the idea behind this jumpers for ring post match, which it makes sense now because back then when you're children and it really is playground, I pick him. That was fantastic.
Yeah. And we're doing it again on this show because it went so well last time.
It did, and I'm really looking forward to some of the guys that are in the next match, and especially one guy who is an absolute stud and suddenly just popped up on the radar out of nowhere. And we'll get to that. Robbie X, Nino, Bryant, talk us through one of the future best junior heavyweights against one of the current best junior heavyweights.
It's just so like Nino has mirrored Robbie X's ascent to the top of professional wrestling so much of the similar way, being a small kid that started and like being put in this role of like, you're just a high flyer, you're going all over the place, just being a high flyer. And Robbie X was very much the exact same. And then he's also grown his wings and become so much more. Robbie X is such a phenomenal talent now. But he also had the same, like being really young and starting in wrestling and just growing and growing and growing. Putting him against someone that is following in his footsteps, in my opinion, was obvious. It was this is a match that in 10 years time they're going to do again and it's going to be even better. Like,
yeah, as you say, Robbie X's ascent to main event level in British wrestling, it's been a long time coming, because as you say, when he started so young, and you'd think he's a veteran now, but he's still so young.
Very young, even though he's like one of the best in the country, if not the best high flyer in the country, in my opinion.
No, I can't deny it right now. His match against Aramis on Super Strong Style 16, this is available now on the WWE Network or Demand Progress, is the standout match of the show, and he's been having some incredible matches against Luke Jacobs at Rev Pro UK, some of the best matches you'll ever see.
He is absolutely incredible and amazing talent. And also, can I just say, like, there's a certain level of like, everyone at our shows is absolutely phenomenal backstage and everything like that. Robbie X is one of those people that is absolutely phenomenal, and he is one of those people that is there to make sure everyone gets the best out of their matches. So he like came up to me, was making sure that I was okay with everything that he wanted to do and everything that was going on backstage, and then also was making sure everyone else was okay with it, and like honestly just helped out with the entire running of the show. In terms of, from my standpoint, it helps me so much what he was doing like backstage. So it's one of those things that people don't get enough praise for, is helping out backstage when they like really shouldn't have to.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. Safire Reed made her debut at the show for yourselves. Somebody who's been sneakily making her way onto some of the shows around the thing, and what an intense young lady.
So this is something that no one really knows about Safire. She started training at the same time as me. We both started training together, and that was at the same place that Nico Angelo was training. We all came up together in the same place. And I would like to say, personally, I've taken quite a big part of like helping Safire get to where she is now, and like helping her in training and helping her outside, making sure everything else works really well. She's one of those people that I have endless amounts of time for, because we literally started at the same time. And we've been going through this entire thing, but she's only just started getting on shows when I think she should have been getting on them ages ago. Like, she's been at the same level as me the entire time. The difference is she's just been staying at home training instead of being on shows and doing it. She's been training. And then I think it was about a year or 2 years ago, just as we're coming out of lockdown, starting to get on shows and do things like that. And it shows how good she is. She's been doing this for so long because of it.
I think, where did I see her? It was UKPW. I think I saw her first, and then I can't remember the other ones. But yeah, definitely an extremely talented young lady who I definitely predict a lot of big things for in the future. But let's talk about No More Balconies. 26th of June in Cardiff, Wales, at the Revolution in Cardiff. What can we expect from the new venue?
A lower ceiling, a nicer atmosphere, because it's just a generally nice place. We've been given a lot of opportunities to be able to now do things like VIP tickets, do things where it's a bit more exclusive, a bit more of a different experience for people in the actual around wrestling. There's a bar right next to you, so even when the matches are going on, you can order drinks. So that's always a positive. And it's just in general a lot nicer. Like, as much as the Angel Hotel is a beautiful venue and it's absolutely amazing, it's given me the opportunity to now, instead of just losing money or breaking even, it's given me the opportunity to now start earning money from this, which is now a great thing. That also plays a lot of part into it. And it's also a great place to, like, in terms of like, it can bring in a new audience and that's the thing that I'm most focused on, like, in doing this, because the wrestling fans they're more than likely gonna go, but I'm not saying 100% they're gonna go, but they're more than likely gonna go because they're wrestling fans and they love wrestling. But working in a place like this, it means that we can grow out to a different audience of the students that go into the nightclub, the people that go there on Saturdays and Sundays for a drink with their family. Like, it's a whole new audience that we can bring into wrestling, and we can show this thing that we all love and build it.
Because wrestling is completely different for a live experience to a taped experience. You know, my stag do, I took friends to the Super Strong Style 16 weekend. A couple of them not wrestling fans, they don't watch wrestling week after week, but they enjoyed themselves at the Progress show. They enjoyed the atmosphere, the curates, the buzz around, and from what I've looked, they've got some nice little cocktails on tap at the Revolution bar.
They've got so many, it's mental.
So it'll be a great opportunity. I'm sure there'll be plenty of singing and drinking.
Yeah,
excellent. So as we say, no more balconies. Nico Angelo versus Dan Maloney. Connor Mills has paid a hitman, essentially.
So obviously, after the last show, Mills attacking Nico after the match, him thinking that Nico's roll-up victory on the first show and Nico pinning Lee Hunter is not counting as wins against Connor Mills. Like he sees it as not the right way to go about it. So he's taken it personally, and he's now made it his vendetta to cause Nico harm. Unfortunately, we couldn't settle this with a third and final match. So because Connor Mills wasn't available. So we asked Mills who he would like to face Nico in his place. And then because Dan Maloney is such a close friend of Mills outside of on-screen wrestling, and obviously Dan Maloney being such a dominant figure in the ring, he put his name forward and basically sent Dan to do as much damage to Nico as possible before their next match.
He is the driller. He does love to batter people. I'm sure Nico will want to keep his distance and use his high flying and just keep away from that power offense of Dan Maloney.
That is 100% it.
Nino Bryant versus Kid Lykos, another amazing opportunity for young Nino to be in the ring again with one of the best junior heavyweights of British wrestling. No, in fact, one of the best junior heavyweights in the world right now in Kid Lykos. Oh, I've lost. Oh, there we go. You're back. Nearly lost you.
But yeah, as you're saying, like against one of the best cruiserweights from here to the other side of the world, like Lykos is such a good opportunity for Nino, and also Lykos Gym. Both of them were at a point where, because of the way that I've gone to approaching their tag matches, they've got to the point where they're established as dominant tag teams in Creation Pro. They're on a 2-match undefeated streak, and they've won both times convincingly. It's not been there's been no shenanigans, there's been no cheating, there's been none of that. It's both times they've won is very convincingly, very strongly. So they decided that instead of being put in a tag match against 2 singles competitors, they both want to be singles wrestlers taking on singles wrestlers to prove that they can not only do it in the tags, they can do it as individuals. So having someone that is trying to cut their teeth and trying to make a name for himself, if Nino can get a win against Lykos, that's something massive. Like if he can prove that he's got the ability to beat one of the best high flyers in the UK, and not only that, beat one of the guys that is on fire at the moment in Creation Pro, then it obviously proves something.
100%. Again, it's going to be an amazing match. It's going to be almost as speed versus technique in a way. And then you've got high flying match, Just Joe Lando and Kid Lykos II. Just Joe Lando given an opportunity here to avenge the first Creation loss, and again in a one-on-one match against Kid Lykos II. How do you see this going?
I think this has very much chance to steal the show. This match has very much a high chance of stealing the entire show. Unfortunately, where Joe Nelson is so experienced, or not, as Lykos II is so experienced in the ring, and Joe Lando isn't quite to the same level of experience as him, I feel like he's going to take more of the edge to winning this match, and he's going to take more of a controlling and try and make sure Joe's grounded, even though he's a high flyer himself. I think he will take the opportunity to ground Joe because he also has the ability to go into that side of his arsenal, rather than Joe has a very not limited arsenal, but he's got an arsenal that is a lot less extensive than Lykos.
Yeah, because Lykos 2, again, much like Lykos 1, their actual grappling technique, their wrestling ability, their catchability, if you like, they've got a great mixture of different grappling techniques, unique ones as well. Where Joe Lando is going to have a bit more experience, he's got the size in this encounter. But high flying, they can probably just about match each other. So will Lando's size be able to outdo Lykos 2's technique? It'd be a great match.
There's also something that people don't factor into it. Lando's only new to his size. Lando hasn't had much experience being the size that he is. So things like moving his body around and stuff is very different compared to what he's used to. So with the weight change, as much as that is a good thing, it's also might be a bit of a hindrance in the match going forward, because it might be something that he's not too, he's still learning how to move his size right and how to move it differently to how he used to.
I think it's, as you say, it 100% probably will steal the show. These are 2 phenomenal young talents. Joshua versus Nick Riley. You've had one of the smoking aces, you've brought in the second one, and you've put him against your friend, Joshua. this could be a sleeper match. This will be the one many people won't expect, but will suddenly just be like, wow.
This is one thing that I really like doing. Like, as much as like all the other matches have like, there's a bit of something going into them. Like, there's a bit of a story going into it. I think wrestling's also really good when it doesn't, and it has the best time to shock you and surprise you when it doesn't. Like, there's not much story going into this. There's not much build up going into this, but it also has the chance to be one of the really good matches on this card. It has one of the chances to like essentially like steal the show, because Nick Riley's such a good talent and Joshua is such a good talent. And I think it's a matchup that no one's really expecting to see or doesn't expect much from. So it has an opportunity to do something that no one's seen there.
Yeah, because Nick Riley has literally only just exploded onto the scene, considering he's been around for quite some time.
Absolutely ages. But
he's been a hidden talent, much like Jay Joshua. And I think, as you say, I think this is going to be great. Now, do you just not like Mad Kurt? Because you've put him against Rhio, and Rio's going to kill him.
I very much had I've been watching a lot of the Tuesday night graps, and it seems like Mad Kurt just keeps winding Rhio up, keeps winding Northwest Strong up, and like, I love to see Kurt get beat up as much as the next guy. Like, as soon as I was like, okay, we're gonna bring Kurt in, who's the best person for him to face? And I was like, well, he's been winding them up over there for so long. He's now got the opportunity to like see if he can beat her in the ring.
I love Mad Kurt. He is a phenomenally talented wrestler when he wants to be. When he wants to be, he's an absolute troll at his best, and it's fantastic to see the way he geeks on wrestlers. Did you see him? What he did to Will Ospreay when he turned up dressed as Minoru Suzuki?
No.
Oh, that was just before Epic Encounters. The show just before Epic Encounters. Mad Kurt comes dressed out as Minoru Suzuki, gets beaten up for it.
Oh, but yeah, I saw that. That was great. I remember that.
That was just fantastic. He has, but a lot of people underestimate how good of a wrestler he actually is on his day.
People got to remember, like, before he was Mad Kurt, he was Curtis Chapman, and he was trying to become the next Zack Sabre Jr. So he's very technically gifted. So he knows a lot, but at the same time, he's morphed into this, but only can be described as some sort of metamorphosis animal of Mad Kurt.
Yeah, I think he got dropped on his head just a bit too often. And Rhio, I mean, talk about somebody again who's just taking the scene by storm right now, and just made her international debut over in Tokyo Joshi Pro.
I was so happy when I saw that. So happy to see her going overseas and doing something in a country where she's probably gonna be able to make a living out of it. Like, somewhere where she can go there and she can like it's one of those things that if she's there, I can see them going, oh, we really like her, let's keep her here. Like, it's a very good opportunity for her, and very good for her in general to be doing that. And I think from what I could tell, from what I've seen of clips and everything, she's impressed a lot of people out there. And it's really nice to see.
She's trained in that Northwest strong mentality. They're almost built to go to Japan over at Chris Ridgway. It seems to be what he's doing. He's just building. And as you say, be it TJPW, Marvelous, Seedling, Stardom, of course, she could be a champion in every single one of those promotions.
And she'll fit in so well. She'll fit in. She could go there and then start working there, and almost just fall into place like immediately.
And you think of the amazing British talent have gone over there and done what she's doing now, from Millie McKenzie, Doudrop, or Piper Niven, or Viper as she was at that time, and so many more. And Tony Storm, of course, doing. All right. You got another jumpers for ring post match. Who are the team captains going to be this time?
So the team captains this time is me and Brendan White. So just because Brendan's proved himself on the last one, he proved that he's a very dominant force. So he's still keeping the medal of a champion there. So, and I'm coming in to explain the rules to people pretty much. So it's best that I'm in there explaining the rules as one of the captains.
Yeah, because a good friend of ours, actually, he's been on the show a few times now, young Ian Skinner. He's moaning that he has no idea what the rules are here.
Yeah, we've been receiving a lot of messages from Skinner, just very confused as to what the stipulations are. And I've been telling him nonstop that, look, on the day it'll be easier. I'll just explain it to you. I can talk you through it. I can talk you through like what you're not understanding. Just wait till the day, and then I'll let you know all the rules and everything like that. But I don't think he appreciates that too much. Like, I think.
Of course, he could go on YouTube and just go watch Creation Pro's last show on the Creation Pro YouTube channel and just have a look out for himself. Exactly.
To be fair, because of Dino being the ref in that match, there was also a lot of non-rules that were rules all of a sudden. Since Brendan White they weren't counting Brendan's pins. So it might confuse him more if he goes and watches that.
That's a good point. Shh, don't tell him this. He's not the brightest. He's a phenomenal personality, a great wrestler, and I look forward to seeing him for you guys. Who else is in the match? You got Elijah, Safire Reed, Sid Oakley, Jay Alexander, Remi Adetunji, who I just saw again, Repro UK. Boy, that guy is jacked.
And so talented.
Yes.
So incredibly talented. I was at a WrestleForce show recently, and this was like whilst I was putting together the card for this show. I was at a WrestleForce show, and I watched his match just out of curiosity, because like you see him backstage, and I'm like, oh, is it like handsome looking man? He's jacked. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He looks like he knows where he's going. I was like, I'm gonna like watch his match just out of curiosity to see how good he is. And it was one of those, I watched his match, instantly went backstage and went, are you busy on this day? And then he was like, I don't think I am. Let me check. No. And I was like, okay, I've got something. You might be a bit confused by it, but I got something.
Yeah, because he's training down at the Portsmouth Guildhall with Repro UK. He's in amongst the contenders division under Brendan White, who will be in this match, as long as David Francesco, who is in the last match, of course. Some great talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Rev Pro is just smashing it out of the park at the moment. So there's not much like in terms of like getting all the correct guys. You can kind of just look at one of the cards and go, okay, most of these guys are good. So we can mix and match them with guys that we've got, and we can mix and match them with guys that everyone else has got, and just put on good shows. And on the contenders division, as you've seen from people like Michael, it works so well for people like that, where they're just boosted to such a high status in the matter of like weeks because of it.
Yeah, they had some incredible talents that have come through the. I'd like to see Kenneth Halfpenny back when he gets an opportunity, because he was always one of my favorites. Him and Sean Jackson, part of the last group. But yeah, David Francisco, Remi Adetunji doing just great things. Billy, as you say, Elijah's in the match this time round. I'm sure he'll be looking to get a win under his belt. So, as you're going to be one of the team captains, who are you looking? Who have you been scouting most for this?
So I was, because of the people that I've trained with, I've kind of like, I'm kind of gravitating more towards them, the people that I've like trained with in London. So people like Safire, people like Jay Alexander, and people like that. Maybe even Elijah. Like looking at people that I know that can do it get it done in the ring, and also I know personally outside of the ring, because then there's some sort of natural link up between us. There's a natural bond already there, so I don't have to fight too much to like try and get everyone working on the same page.
I like that. Good strategy. Now, before we let you go, who are some guys you would love to see compete in a Creation Pro ring?
I've got a list. I just because there is so many guys like up and down the country that are so talented. Like I've literally got a list. Go in there. I can chuck them in there. I could do this with them. Someone that I really want to start putting on shows is LA Taylor. I think she's absolutely incredible. I think she's an amazing talent. And it's such a unique thing now to have such a big, strong female wrestler and that be the thing. Mulligan, I just saw him on the last, he's one of my friends outside of wrestling, but I also saw him on the last Chaos show, and I got to like see him like actually performing properly. And that was something that I'm very interested in pushing forward in future. Tommy Kyle, absolutely phenomenal wrestler. One of the guys that once we've got a good opportunity for him, that we're going to bring him down. Who else? Kieran Lacey, we want to bring at some point, again, finding the right opportunity for him, moving him into that slot. And there was one more person that I wanted to mention, but they've completely left my head. So there's a lot of people. We have our eyes open across wrestling. Like I watch so much wrestling outside of my shows, outside of shows that I'm on. So I've got a bit of an ear to the wall of who's good and who's not. And people also come to me letting me know who's good. And that means a lot to me. Like people that are my close mates, people like Nico Angelo going up and down the country, and then him coming back and being like, this guy's good. You should look at him. You should like keep an eye out. The guy that's helping me with majority of my social media stuff, Chris Tumbus, he's also someone that watches a lot of wrestling outside. So I'll get a message from him every once in a while. This person's good. Go have a look at him. And basically all the guys that I surround myself with, like if they give me a little word of whether someone's good or not, I'm instantly going to go watch them, instantly going to check if there's someone that can be slotted into our little group that we've got here and our little thing that we've got going.
Nice. Okay. One dream match for Creation Pro.
Okay. I'm going to go out of the park here just because Will Ospreay, Nico Angelo.
That would be great. That would be absolutely amazing. Right. So as we say, No More Balconies, 26th of June, Cardiff, Wales, Revolution Cardiff. Go check it out. It's going to be a great show. And is there anything you would like to mention before you go? I noticed there's some new Dead Sad Boy t-shirts out for the back wall.
There is a lot of new t-shirts out. So Creation Pro are releasing new t-shirts. I'm releasing new t-shirts. Dead Sad Boys releasing new t-shirts. There's a lot coming. Creation Pro t-shirts should be there on Sunday. I'm praying to God that they are. So will the Dead Sad Boy ones, and so will my personal ones. And they're instantly, as soon as they're out at shows, they're going to be up on some sort of big cartel and some sort of way where people online can get them as well. And also, if you buy the things like the Creation Pro shirts, all the funding for them is going straight back into Creation Pro, and it's going straight back into making better and bigger shows. So the only things that I can really plug away and make sure people are doing is when you buy things like shirts for these companies, they're going straight back into the companies and they're going to help us put on better shows in future.
Amazing. Right. If you have not seen Creation 1 or Creation 2, insert Marvel quote here, go check them out on YouTube before you go watch No More Balconies. Thank you so much for coming on today, Billy. With that done, I think we just got to say, don't feed the trolls.